Have you ever had that strange feeling that you're being watched? You're walking through a park, or maybe just taking the trash out to the curb, and the hair on the back of your neck stands up. You turn around, scanning the trees, and there it is. High up on a telephone wire, a silhouette cuts against the sky. Pitch black. Intelligent eyes. A crow. You probably look away and keep walking. After all, it's just a bird, right? It doesn't know who you are. It's just looking for a crust of bread or a shiny wrapper. But what if I told you that you are wrong? What if I told you that bird is looking at your face, memorizing the shape of your nose, the set of your eyes, and the cut of your jaw? And what if I told you that if you do something to upset that bird, it will hold a grudge that could last for generations? Welcome to the dark, fascinating, and slightly terrifying world of crow intelligence. To understand this, we have to travel back to the University of Washington in Seattle. Imagine a group of scientists who had a burning question. Can a bird essentially distinguish a good guy from a bad guy? To find out, they tried something that sounds like the start of a horror movie. They bought a mask. Specifically, a mask that looked like a caveman. Heavy brow, distinct features, something very recognizable. Wearing this caveman mask, the researchers went out and trapped a few crows. They didn't hurt them, but they banded their legs and measured them. For a wild bird, this was a stressful, scary experience. They were terrified. Then the researchers let them go. Now, here is where the story gets crazy. A few days later, the researchers walked across the same campus. One person wore a plain, neutral mask. The crows ignored him completely. He was just background noise. But then someone walked out wearing the caveman mask. Instantly, the sky erupted. The crows that had been trapped didn't just fly away, they went on the offensive. They started dive-bombing the person in the mask. They screamed, a specific, harsh, scolding call that signals danger. It wasn't a casual, hello, it was a war cry. But the scientists noticed something else, something that sent shivers down their spines. The number of angry crows was growing. Birds that had never been trapped, birds that had never even seen the caveman mask before, were joining the attack. Why? Because crows talk. They have a social language so complex we are only just beginning to understand it. The victims were telling their friends, "See that face? That plastic caveman face? That is the enemy." And the friends listened. The mob grew from a few birds to dozens, all screaming at this one specific face. You might think, okay, they were mad for a week, they got over it. They did not get over it. 1 year later, the mask came back. The crows attacked. 5 years later, the crows attacked. 10 years later, the researchers returned with the mask. Most of the crows that were originally trapped had died of old age by then. But the flock? The flock still attacked. The parents had taught their children. The grudge had been passed down through the DNA of their culture. Young crows who had never been touched by a human hand knew that the caveman face was evil. They had created a generational folklore around a piece of plastic. So, how is this biologically possible? We used to use the term bird-brained as an insult. That is a huge mistake. A crow's brain, relative to its body size, is massive. It's comparable to a chimpanzee. They have a specific region in their brain, similar to our own, dedicated entirely to facial recognition. They don't just see a human, they see you. They recognize that you are the one who chased them away from the garden, while your neighbor is the one who fills the bird bath. They know the difference. But before you start looking at the sky in fear, there is a flip side to this story. If crows have the capacity for revenge, they also have the capacity for gratitude. There are thousands of recorded cases of crow gifts. People who feed crows regularly, who speak softly to them and treat them with respect, often start finding little treasures left on their porch. A blue marble, a piece of sea glass, a shiny button, a lost earring. These aren't accidents. This is a transaction. The crow is saying, I know your face. You are a friend. Here is something valuable in return. It proves that their world is built on reciprocity. You get what you give. So, the next time you are walking down the street and you see that black silhouette watching you from the power line, don't just ignore it. Acknowledge it. Maybe even nod. Because that bird isn't just a mindless animal. It is a creature with a memory that rivals your own. It is a creature that talks to its neighbors. And it is deciding, right there in that moment, whether to bring you a shiny gift or to make you the villain in a story its grandchildren will be telling 10 years from now. Choose wisely.